All right, welcome back to another video. Thank you guys for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching the videos and the shorts. I really appreciate it. The numbers have been steadily growing this year, and I'm very excited about that. So thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone. So for today's video, I titled this video "The Little Things." So um, what do I mean by little things? Well, we're gonna get into that for sure. But some of you may have been fishing for a very long time. Some of you may be new to fishing. Some of you might be in between. Some of you might have done really well early. Things are kind of tapered off, and now you're trying to figure out what is going on, what happened, like where am I at? So in this video titled "The Little Things," I just want to talk about some things that I've noticed over my time of fishing. So for now, I can't keep saying that I'm new to fishing because technically I've been fishing for almost maybe 9 years at this point, right? So it's new in the scope of 40 years versus 9, but not new in the scope of what I've done for tournament fishing. So if you have never watched any of my videos, you have no idea who I am. My name is Ty. People commonly refer to me as Bass and Furious. I have a pretty extensive resume when it comes to what I've fished and what I've been a part of and what I've gotten the chance to see, who I've gotten a chance to fish with. Just all around the spectrum to understand different approaches, mindsets of how to be successful at fishing. And by fishing, I'm referring to, for what I'm talking about today, is tournament bass fishing. So there's a lot of people who really don't seem, they're not into tournament fishing. They just like fishing, and that's fine. This one's more so geared towards tournament bass fishing. So the little things that I've noticed. So I got 3 points I want to make to you guys. 3 points, 3 things I want to talk to you guys about today for tournament fishing. So for the little things, point number 1 that I've noticed from the fishing I've done. Now, I said I fished BFLs. These are Major League Fishing tournaments. I fished Toyota Series tournaments. That's the next up level for the tournaments. I fished the Bassmaster Open Series as well. I fished the Kayak Series now, pretty much every single one I can possibly get into. So as far as tournament fishing, I fished at the highest level I can fish at without being a professional angler for like the Bassmaster Elites. I've never even tried, but to be in Elites yet, I haven't even tried that. So, but I've fished pretty extensively, right? So I'm saying that to say, not to be like, oh, look at me. I'm saying I've seen a lot in what I've fished. I've fished with a lot. I've seen a lot. So what I'm telling you is I'm not pulling it out of my hindparts. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, so what I've seen, there's specific traits that I've seen in certain anglers that do well, and there's specific traits I've seen in anglers that do not do well and that struggle or that are trying to get better. There's things that I've seen. That's kind of why I'm mentioning my history and what I've done. I've seen it done correctly, and then I've seen it done not correctly, and there's differences. So that's what I'm trying to go over with you guys today. So first point I want to make to you guys is organization. And you say, oh, okay, I got, yeah. Say what you want about organization. I'm telling you right now, organization is going to be like one of the most important things. There's something to be said about an angler who knows that when they go in this drawer, it's this, and this. When they go over here, it's this, and this. And then when they go in the back, it's this. And then when they grab, they know it's this and this. Like, there's something to be said about that, because that ultimately means you can be more efficient on the water. And that's kind of where the organization comes into. You can be more efficient on the water. So knowing where your stuff is. So if you're new to fishing, you've been fishing for a while, you were good, now you're struggling, you kind of got to go back to where you first got into it, right? So when you first signed up for fishing, you first got into it, you wanted all the colors. You wanted all the specifics. You had to have 14-pound suffix line. It had to be, the diameter. You had like you had your 10-pound braid running to your 8-pound. Your knots were tied properly. Your hooks were sharpened. You knew where your white and chartreuse spinnerbaits were versus your white spinnerbaits. You knew where your black and blue jackhammer was versus your red jackhammer. You knew where these things were. So when it came time to, like, you looking at the water, you're not getting bit on the white and chartreuse, you want to switch to white, you knew, bam, I got my white right here. I got it tied on. You know, your knots were tight. Your tagging wasn't that, like, your stuff was lined up. You knew that when you grabbed a rod and reel, you knew this reel was 6/8 to 1, and you knew the rod was a 7/1 medium action. You knew all that. It all was lining up. So when it came time to get it, you're good because you know what's going on. You know your 3/8 ounce weights are here. Your 1/4 ounce weights are here. Your one size hooks are here. Your 1/0 hooks are over here. Like, that organization played a role in you being successful. Sometimes you can get away with just winging it. A lot of people get away with just winging it, but that's not a recipe for consistent success. If you take nothing away from this video, winging it is not a formula for consistent success. It is, you're going to win a tournament 1 month and you may not win again for the next 6 months. You may not even cash a check again for the next 6 months. Winning, not, because winging it is not a formula for consistent success. It is a formula for success. A lot of tournaments have been won by a guy who just hopped up in the morning and is like, I think I'm going to go fishing. And he goes out there. He has no clue about what's going on. He goes out there. He throws his bait. They bite it quickly. Next thing you know, he's got a bunch of fish in the boat. And he whoop you behind. Ask him to go out there and do it again. You know what he's going to do? He's going to go to that same spot. He's going to throw that same bait again. They're not going to bite and he's going to lose. And then 3 months later, he'll throw it again, they'll bite again, and he'll win. See what I'm saying? It's not a formula for consistent success, but you can get by like that. So if you ever have a chance and you got to wing it, just go fishing. You might figure it out. I'm not saying don't do it. What I'm saying is if you want to compete in tournaments and be successful, you do need to be organized. Organization is a very important aspect of being successful. Point number 2, and they're right in the same line, but point number 2 is time on the water. It cannot be stated enough for time on the water versus someone not putting time on the water. It's very obvious because you'll see someone that has a pattern. They'll run a pattern, and because they put time on the water, they know that if the pattern works here, they know they can look at the map, they can go around the corner, they know that it's set up similar in this next area because they put time on the water. So they get there, they're lining them up again. They're already on them because they put the time in on the water versus someone who gets bit in a spot, they don't know, they got to spend their time running, looking, trying to figure, oh, this kind of looks close up, maybe get in there, and it's not the same. The bottom's not the same. The depth's not the same. Things are not, because you didn't put the same amount of time in the water as somebody else. Now, by that same token, there's some people that are like, dude, I want to compete in tournaments, but I work for the government. I drive up here, I drive there. I got things to do. I got kids, I got family. When you're talking to me and you say you got kids and family and you got work, I'm not going to give you any brownie points or nothing for that. I'm not giving you nothing for that because you're talking to the wrong person. I got 4 kids and I have like 6 jobs. No. If I can find time to get on the water, you can find time to get on the water. I don't care. You get off whatever time, I get off whatever time. There's been plenty of times that I hit the water at 5 p.m. It gets dark at 8. That 3 hours can come in handy when I got a tournament in 3 months. I got a tournament in 3 months. This goes back to point number 1, organization. I got my schedule lined up. I know where I need to be at. So if I got 3 hours and I know that I'm fishing a tournament at a place that's 15 minutes from my house, I can run 15 minutes from my house, practice for 2 hours and 45 minutes. I can get on the water that quick. You know why? Because I'm organized. So my boat's already ready. My tackle, everything's organized. I got it all lined up on my day off or on a Saturday after my kids' sporting events. I came home and sat down and organized my stuff because I knew I had a busy schedule. So in order for number 2 to work, you need number 1 to work. Organization. It's really hard to drop your boat in real quick when your rods are over here, your tackle's over there, and you ain't got nothing prepared. You can't just go drop in because you now got to organize. So now by the time you're organized, it's 6:30. Now you got an hour. Should you still take the hour? You sure should take the hour. But I'm just saying, I got 2 hours and 45 minutes because I was prepared. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. It is what it is. I understand. When I don't do well, I know why I don't do well. My stuff didn't come together. But also why I didn't do well is point number 3. Time on the water. I think you guys understand time on the water is just important. And I'm not saying this to talk at you like I spend all this time on the water and I'm the greatest angler in the world. I'm not even trying to say it like that. What I'm saying is, from what I've seen and what I've experienced, time on the water, I noticed that my tournament results improved when I increased my time on the water and I became more organized. That's not just me. That's other anglers that I fish with. I could of course list all the anglers that I fish with. You can check my stuff. You can see who I fish with. I'm telling you, there's some anglers that just got it dialed. There's a reason why some of these pros stay pros for as long as they are, because their stuff is just dialed. And then there's some reason why these guys are always going to fish on the weekend. They're always going to lose money, because they're not. They're a complete utter mess. They don't know where anything is. They're just completely lost. And it may not be them. There may be life kicking them. They may have a lot going on. I get that. What I'm saying is, if you want to go from losing every weekend to possibly put a little money in the bank, there's steps you can take. Organization, Time on the water. If you got 2 hours, take your 2 hours. Because let's think about it. You don't take your 2 hours, someone else does. They're going to win. You're going to go home with a story, shoulda, coulda, woulda. All that leads me to my third point, and this one is more about game day, and that is execution. Now, they all go together because, one, if I'm organized, I know I got the right rod, the right reel, the right hooks. And I've spent time on the water, I know how these fish are hitting, I know how they're biting, I know what's going on. By the time we get to the third point, execution should just be something that happens, because basically you've put in the time, you're prepared, now it's time to execute, whether that be your game plan, whether that be the actual technique of using your electronics to locate fish, you're executing the techniques properly, whether that be your hook set, you're executing the hook set properly, all the basics of fishing, landing the fish, playing the fish, using your drag to make sure you let the fish wear themselves out before they come up and just get them in. Whether you need to flip the fish because you got him on a jig and you don't got time to be playing around with him, you just need to get him in the boat, watch the hook pop out as he flies in, or a spinner bait, same thing, just you need to get them coming towards you, keep their head up and get them in the boat. You can't let them play around and swim and come up and spit your stuff. Depending on however it is, whether your sweep is proper, whether whether you load up proper, whether you get, if they catch you slipping or off guard while you're reeling, you don't think they're going to hit, you're looking, talking to your buddy, and they hit, are you going to catch that one that caught you slipping? Or you're going to get off, and that's going to be your story about how you lost a 7-pounder. Execution. That's the third point I want to make, is execution. That is so important when it comes to fishing. If you guys follow my channel, you saw I just released a video talking about my own execution. It was terrible in this last tournament I just fished. Couldn't land a fish to save my life. If my life depended on it, that would have been my last day, because I couldn't land a fish, couldn't get him in the boat. I landed one, so I would have bought myself a day, I guess. But couldn't get him. Don't know what it was. My practice wasn't that great. My tournament ended up being not that great. I was organized, but I personally don't think I put enough time on the water. I put 1 day. I did go for like 10 hours, but I needed more time on the water. It was 1 day all year long. I put 1 day on this body of water. I never expected to do well 1 day, hoping and wishing, basically, in my opinion. I needed more time. And I should have had more time, but stuff came up and I had to, whatever the case may be. But I was organized, didn't put as much time on the water, and then game day came down and I didn't execute, in my opinion, as best as I could have. And it cost me. So it cost me money, cost me time, cost me stress, anxiety, headaches. It cost me all kinds of stuff, because you want to do well. You really want to do well, and when you don't, it kind of burns you up. So organization, time on the water, and then executing your game plan, your techniques, whatever the case may be. Again, just based on things that I've seen. And like I said, this is not I'm over here killing it, doing this thing, and I'm trying to no, this is literally just me telling you what I've seen, what I've experienced personally, what has helped me, and what I've seen help multiple anglers. I've had some guys do really, really well in tournaments where I'm in the back of the boat. I've done really, really well in tournaments by myself in the front of the boat. I've done really well in tournaments in the front of the kayak. There's no back of the kayak, it's just me. But I've done really, really well in these tournaments myself. If I got to show you guys again, the trophies up there on the wall, there's multiple. Now there's a second place. I have a first place, a second place, fourth place, and a fifth place. So I'm missing a third, but I'm never aiming for third. So I'd like to have more first up there. But I'm just saying that there's tips, things to be successful. There's techniques, there's characteristics that you see that are consistently done by anglers that do well. Winging it should not be your philosophy for consistent success. Every once in a while, we all have to wing it. You don't have a choice. You can't practice. You literally can't practice. You got off work at 8. It's dark. There's no way to practice, right? And you couldn't go in the morning because you had a doctor's appointment or you had some event, you had something going on, so you couldn't go. So you literally could not go. And the week has been like that, and it's been like that. And you had to fix the roof, and your car needed repairs, and your kid needed help with this, and you needed to redo the driveway, and you needed to put siding on. Like, we've all had those weeks. So if you get out there and you got to wing it, but still, you can still be organized. Just because you can't hit the water doesn't mean you can't log online to Google Earth, do some map study at home, organize your tackle, make sure your colors are situated. That way, whatever color you need, you can grab and be ready to rock. Your rods and reels can be clean. Your rods can be ready to rock. They can be spooled up. All that can be done. You can still be organized within the busyness of the world. 2, time on the water. If you can't get on the actual water, you can definitely use the maps to at least outline a plan for yourself. Google Earth, Navionics, Omnia Pro membership, the Windy app, all these apps out here that give you Very good data. They actually give you tips on what even to throw when you get out there. Some of these apps are really detailed. You can do all that research even if you can't get on the water. Then when it comes time to get on the water and you actually do get time on the water, you can maximize your time on the water with your electronics, the maps study that you've already done, the app study that you've already done. Then you can go fishing. Then it comes down to just executing what you've done, putting together your plan, landing your fish, following up your baits if you miss one on top water, having the Cinco or something else tied up to throw right after it to get that bite, especially if it's like a frog, throw something else in there, try to get the bite afterwards, whatever the case may be. Then this comes down to execution and doing it well on that day. And if you can put those things together, typically you can be a little bit more successful in tournaments, consistently more successful, whether you're getting top 20s, top 10s versus finishing 57th and then second, and then 39th, 42nd, 58th, 0, and then you come in second and win big fish. Like, eliminate those junk ones and just get 4th, 8th, 7th, 2nd, win. Yay, right? Like, you can go that way because you've demonstrated some consistency, you've done these certain things. So hopefully this video helps. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it as always. My Fast and Furious friends, thank you. Peace, peace. I'll catch you on the next one.